to be renamed President of the African Development Bank Group, AFDB, in the person of Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, has proposed that the Federal Republic of Nigeria should be renamed to the United States of Nigeria. His proposal was contained in a statement by his special advisor on industrialization on Saturday, March the 30th. Now, in that proposal, he explained that a change to the United States of Nigeria would birth a new relational mindset between states and Abuja, noting that the state will play essential roles while the center will only support and not lord over them. All right, that's part of the proposal. Another part of the proposal is also talking about how having a change of name will also change the mindset, of a lot of Nigerians concerning how they feel about the country. Gentlemen, what do you think about renaming us United States of
Nigeria? It's like when you ask questions from people and they don't want to take, they will ask what he has just said. I can relate it to a Western mentality. When Dr. Akinwumi was minister here, he didn't mention renaming Nigeria. When you now want is United States. Which state is independent in Nigeria? If you know the story behind United States of America, you know where they are coming from. Then two, we have a lot of things that we did not want to discuss. And if we don't discuss it, unity will not come into place. That we fail to discuss it. There are a lot of things that have happened to Nigeria as a country. Even from the time of amalgamation, down to the period that we ought to have discussed it. When we discuss it, let us, and that's why you see when we are now having all these different conferences that we have at different point in time, during the time of Yar'Adua, during the time of Jonathan, that conference where we supposed to discuss the issue and trash it and move on. We fail to do that. Then we now want to buy unity by name. You cannot buy a bad product twice. Whatever the name you change, if a product is a bad product and you want to change it only by name, in fact, in advertising campaign, it cannot even work. What I mean is this: because we have challenges as a country, renaming Nigeria will not solve our problem. What he is supposed to talk about is this: let us twinkle with our own constitution. Let us make our state independent. From that, then also let us infuse. Look at one airline, that's a local airline that is now. Look at the issue of clothing. Look at what it's generated into. That is how psychologically we've been disturbed and disunited the way with that particular thinking. Something that's supposed to be a source of celebration to all Nigeria, that we now have a Nigerian company flying to the world, but we, because of little clothes that is not supposed to be part of, and that is the thing. Nigerians are divided. Not that Nigerians are divided, but the kind of political philosophy that the politician is still in our people. How could somebody that raised me as a Christian and I am a Muslim, that paid for my Islamic studies, that did walima for me, how will I turn against his own religion and say it's not a good religion? If I have Igbo as a lecturer that lectured me, that makes sure I become what I become today, will I say Igbo is bad? If I have an Hausa man that accommodated me when I was in Kano, he doesn't know anybody, and he made me executive secretary of a particular agency without knowing anybody with me. So will I be able to say that? We should be able to think that let's close eyes to religious differences, let's close eyes to ethnicity, and also let's also be a Nigerian irrespective of where we're coming from. I think that is what we're supposed to be marshalling. Renaming Nigeria, if you like, we should not say United States of Nigeria, we should call it Unity Nigeria. If by the virtue of our acts, by the virtue of our behavior, by the virtue of our philosophy, we did not change, and I can tell you, I can boldly say, nothing is going to change. If you want to say that particular unity, let us see ourselves as one, irrespective of where we live, irrespective of where we come from. Then we'll start the conversation from there.
So very much, Mr. Adegbero. Mr. Shopito of the United States of Nigeria, how do you react to this?
USN, United States of Nigeria. What an interesting idea. Coming from a man like Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, one is tempted to wonder what, he's intelligent. So he's got to, he has an idea what he's saying and what he's seeing.
He may not be what I wrote the script for this podcast.
I don't know, you know. But if you then listen to the reasons again, then you now understand that the name, I think maybe the headline was cast to draw attention, because I don't think the focus of his message was so much as in the name as in the reason. So he was basically talking about naming us United States of Nigeria so that the states would gain preeminence in the arrangement, which means it's basically talk of this old devolution of powers and restructuring thing. That's all. That's what he's talking about. So, but to present the message as a nomenclature issue, I think it belittles the problem. To think that by just renaming Nigeria in a manner that will project the states, that will solve the problem. It's a bit, I don't know, I don't want to, he's a respected guy, so I think maybe it was just a slip in his, in the composure of composing of his message. I think it was a slip, because coming from that angle is not okay at all. It makes it look flimsy,
so
the problem.
So you don't believe that just a simple name change, would...
I mean, look, whatever you call Nigeria,
okay.
whatever the name of a thing matters. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter. The name of a thing matters, But that's coming from my own beliefs as a person. Some other people will tell you what's in the name, So I believe the name of a thing matters. However, no matter how much you change a name, there are certain actions and conditions that must be on ground before that name change achieves the impact and the effect you desire. So I can change my name from now till next year. My name is Mark Oluwasegun Sokpiton. I say, oh, I don't like, some people tell me that, what kind of name is that, Sokpiton? There are people that change their name. Say, what kind of name is that? Oh, Sokpiton. That is wizard tells a story. So I say, no, that's not my name. So some people will say Oluwapiton, some people will say Jesu Piton. No, my name is Sokpiton, Sheokpiton. Is it a story? Did he tell the story? That's what it means to me, and it's me, so I don't have to change my name because of what you think. Whether I change it from Sokpiton and become Oluwapiton or not, what I will be determined by my actions and my decisions, not by my name alone. So the spiritual aspect, yes, I understand that, but it's not enough. Now, when you take that conversation to the national conversation, come on, are you joking? If you want to talk about the unity of Nigeria as a country, he said some things. Look, I've always believed that there are some questions that we've shied away from. The Opota panel kind of attempted to go into those issues, but we didn't get there. If we really want to talk about the unity of this country, it's not by naming it. It's not by calling it United States of Nigeria. It is by dealing with the deep-rooted animosities that exist, that are born out of the fact that we are independent nation states that were forced together by fiat of a conqueror. A conqueror has come in and has looked at all of you and decided that in order for me to maintain my hold of my empire upon you, I must bring you together, regardless of your differences. That issue must be addressed. The day we address that issue with honesty, with candor, with reverence, then we'll begin to move towards unity. So the Igbo man today, whether we like it or not, he doesn't feel like a Nigerian because of the history of the events that have led up to where we are today. There are some Hausa people that don't. They don't believe. They believe more in the Hausa Fulani tribe than the state called Nigeria. And there are Yoruba people who believe in Oduduwa nation. There's nothing you can do. Now, before we now start talking about the minorities who are feeling aggrieved, that why are you always saying Wazobia? Is it that there are only 3 tribes? Just 3 of you, just because you have large population. Does that make me less important as an Urobo man? Does it make me less important as a Nijo man? Does it make me less important as Kanuri or the Benue man? So all of those undercurrents must be dealt with.
And I digress a little bit on the issue of renaming Nigeria. Just to ask a question based on what you have just talked about. Now, administration after administration after administration has shied away from addressing this issue you're talking about, even though every single Nigerian talks about it.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, do you think it's something Nigeria would recover from if we attempt to go into these deep-rooted issues and try to find, what are we talking about, retribution?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so do you think we will recover
restitution and
yeah.
reconciliation?
Which might be why administrations are shying from
I think that the question should actually be, can Nigeria actually recover from not dealing with these things?
Really?
Yes, because I believe very firmly that one of the reasons that we have failed to progress is that we have not united. Look, there is no country, a house divided against itself can never stand. It's a fundamental law of the universe. For you to progress together, you must be united. How can two work together unless they agree? Look, agreement and unity. And then, let me go scriptural. There was a scripture in the Bible where God said, the people of Babel, they have united and they have proposed in their hearts to build a tower to heaven. That they will succeed unless we do something. He said, lest they succeed, he now scattered them. He put disunity among them by changing the language. So, the unity of a people is a powerful force.
Yes.
One of the reasons that we are not progressing as a nation today is that we're working at cross purposes. Some people are pulling to the west, some people are pulling to the east, some people are pulling northernwards, some people are pulling towards the Atlantic. Almost literally. So, you can't have any president. Look, Tinubu comes today. He has the support of a large chunk of Yoruba people. But the Igbos are against him. So, when he's pulling his policy actions together, instead of Nigerians saying, oh, this is good, this is good, this is good, and looking at the merit of the policy, they're looking at it from the suspicious angle of the tribal and ethnic connotations. How can we proceed like that? So I posit that instead of a name change, we should have an honest president who will say, we must deal with this thing. And then put a commission together that has the force of law and talk about Biafra and the war and what happened there. And the ill feelings let's deal with these things. Let's talk about this elephant. Let's stop pretending as if it's not there. Let's deal with these things. They feel aggrieved. Are they right? Are they wrong? I don't know. I have no opinion.
Well,
let's talk about it. Let them come forward. Let's talk about how the Yorubas, how the Igbos, how the Kanuris, how the Benue man, how do they feel about the Nigerian contraption? Let's talk about it. Then, having dealt, it will take us years. It could take us years. Let's take the time. Look, there's something that President Buhari did that the guy did a few very fundamental things that I thought there are things that will be on history in his favor. You see, making June 12 a public holiday dealt with a fundamental animosity that runs amongst the Yorubas and the Southwest. He had the courage to say, we forgive Abiola. He gave him a posthumous award and named a national holiday after him. That almost killed the whole agitation around June 12.
Just remembrance.
It's just a remembrance now. There is no more anger around it.
And apologize.
And even apologize. I thought, these things are so critical. So I think we need a president who will be bold, brave, courageous, to understand the fundamental issues that a country faces, to build a country. These are the things I must do. And make this question a question that must be answered by all. If we're able to do that, then we can now leave those philosophical issues that drive humanity, the soul of a man that pushes him, and now start talking about process and procedure and operations, and now start talking about name, and start talking about constitution. Those things, look, if you like, change this constitution from next year till tomorrow. Devolve powers to the center, devolve powers to the state, devolve power down to local government. If the people are divided in their hearts and they hate each other, either politically or, as a people face to face, you are going to be pulling in different directions and it will be difficult for you to succeed. So I suggest that rather than the name change, let us have courage and deal with these issues. Will it happen? I don't think so. Because for you to do that, the fear, like you said, is that the majority of the political leaders will be afraid that it will upturn the apple cart. And they are the biggest beneficiaries of this apple cart. So they will not broach the subject. They will keep skirting around it until they have eaten their own share
and leave
of the national cake, and they leave for the next person. The next person will come to look around, and they say, okay, this is why this guy did this. He will also do his own, leave, and we'll never get there. So we pray that Nigerians will one day have the courage to do what they've done in Senegal and to produce a president of the people. We have never had that in the history of this country. A president that was produced by the people of the country. When we do that, then that man will be beholden to the people and not to some forces and some authorities. And he will then be able to...
well, in addition to what he said, look, there are some black spots in the history of Nigeria that if we don't discuss it, we're just joking. And it's the thing that is still, you see, particularly that amalgamation would discuss it.
We have to.
There are some certain foreign constitutions that come. What are the sharing formula of representatives? From Nigeria Council Constitution, from Clifford Constitution, from McPherson Constitution, Littleton Constitution, London Conference 1957-58 Constitution, then from 1966 to 75. You see that black spot is one of the things, and that is where the issue of Biafra that he talks about. If we don't discuss from what happened in January 15, 1966, to what really metamorphosed after that in 1975, I'm telling you that we need to discuss it, that when we discuss it, we'll be able to say, if Nigeria has to say sorry, like Buhari says sorry to all Yorubas, on behalf of Nigeria, I'm saying sorry for the killing of, because he died in the custody of the government, I'm saying sorry, and we are dedicating June 12 to his memory. Anybody that wants to talk about June 12 now, there is no way they are not going to talk about that day. There is no way they are not going to be remembering in that day as is in the history. But one thing there is this: if all these people, there are a lot of people that have been killed at different points in time, in Benue, in Hodi, a lot of people, the one that happened in Okwama, and all those things need to be discussed. What brought the issue of Williams that died in Lagos? So all those kind of things, if we make sure we discuss all these things, because those are the things that divide us.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. It's a whole lot. But I thought United States of Nigeria is cool though, you know, like just makes me
I feel it's even disingenuous. It's not original.
It's not even original.
Come on, if you want to rename this country, let us sit down in a room, lock ourselves up in a room, and come up with a name that will move the soul of the Nigerian. What is United States of Nigeria?
When the Gold Coast, they move, they bring on Ghana.
Let's give ourselves a name that is emotive, that will move the soul of the people.
Tabi wahala turn
Nigeria. How will you say? Oguti share Nigeria. Which one is
funky name that will not be copied from?
Which one is United States of Nigeria?